got no home or no place to roam. Ain't got no home or no place to roam. I'm a lonely boy.
You're listening to Where You Live with Gene Sullivan.
Welcome back. This is Where You Live. I'm Gene Sullivan, broadcasting from the True North Painting Studios. The show is brought to you by American Family Insurance, the Kim Bennett Agency, and Extreme Exteriors. You can count on Extreme Exteriors for expert installation of exterior siding, roofing, soffits, fascia, decks, windows, and more. With their knowledge and experience, they can design the perfect solution to make your home beautiful and energy efficient, saving you maintenance and money for years to come. Give them a call at 763-441-1334 and tell them Gene sent you. It's time now to hear from the Community Associations Institute, brought to you by New Concepts Rental Management. Whether you are an accidental landlord or a seasoned investor, New Concepts Rental Management can advise and guide you through every aspect of the business. Give us a call at 952-922-2500.
Are you a member of the Community Associations Institute? For nearly 40 years, CAI has provided education and resources to volunteer homeowners who govern community associations and the professionals who support them. Visit caionline.org to learn more. That address again is caionline.org. CAI helps community association board members by providing online resources, in-person training, and hard copy publications written by association management experts. CAI offers community managers professional development, networking opportunities, and a certification program that's established as the industry standard nationwide. Minnesota has its own chapter of the Community Associations Institute to bring resources and tools from community associations around the country right to your home. Visit CAIMN.com to learn more and become a member of CAI today. Your community and management company will benefit from your involvement. Join the Community Associations Institute today at CAIMN.com and click on Membership.
Welcome back. We're talking about this Rolling Stones article written by Occupy organizer Jesse Meyerson, and he entitles his article, 5 Reforms That Millennials Should Be Able to Get Behind and Fight For. We were talking in our first segment about the first one, and he said there ought to be guaranteed work for everyone. A great sentiment, no doubt. But he said the solution is that government is to guarantee that everyone, not everyone who needs to work, but everyone who wants to contribute productively is able to earn a decent living in the private sector. So he's basically saying, you know what? It doesn't matter what you do, but if you feel like doing it, doggone it, you should be able to get paid a good wage for it, and that should be what everybody expects. And is that a reform that you think everybody ought to be able to get behind? He says, I think it's a no-brainer. He says the program could automatically expand during a time when in the private sector jobs have a downturn. And he said this thing could contract and get smaller when the private sector is doing better. Now, I want to ask you, is this a reform? Usually when I think of a reform, I usually think of something that is an idea. It has behind it something that's been thought about on how it can be accomplished. I don't think what we have here are 5 reforms. What I think we have are 5 wishes. And that's basically what we're looking at here. 5 wishes that would be nice to have in place. And wouldn't it be nice to have in place an idea, a world where everybody made enough money? I would love to see that happen, but it doesn't necessarily happen. And when it doesn't happen to you, I don't know that one needs to be pessimistic, as I said before. You don't need to say, well, someone's got to be at fault. There's someone we've got to blame, through all of this. As I mentioned before, I think he's looking at the government as the great, not the USA, but the great ATM, because he's expecting that the government guarantee and provide this. It reminds me of a story when my kids were young, and probably 5 and 6. I remember a number of times they'd come up and, oh, Dad, let's go to Camp Snoopy at the Mall of America. Well, I'm dating myself because it's not Camp Snoopy now, but it was when my kids were growing up. And I would say, no, we don't have money for that right now. Oh, Dad, let's go to the Twins game. Oh, yeah, let's, no, we can't do that right now. And so, every once in a while, kids will come up and say, hey, can we do this? And I would say, no, we don't have the money for that right now. And I remember one time my 6-year-old son was scratching his head, and all of a sudden, you could see there are times when enlightenment takes place. There was a light bulb that went above his head. Everybody could see it. And all of a sudden, he turned to me excited, and he said, Dad, I've got it. And I said, what? He said, I know how we can get the money to do these things. What's that? He said, all we need to do is just go to an ATM and get more money. He had seen me do that before, but he didn't really understand the full process of the ATM. Not understanding the ATM has money only because I put money into my account. Therefore, I was able to take what I put in there. The one thing that is missing here in this piece with Mr. Meyerson is the understanding that the government, even though it has a lot more money than most people, most entities would have, there's still a finite amount of resources. And you don't have money for everything that you want when you want it. I see this over and over again in homeowner associations that we manage and work with at New Concepts. Unfortunately, you work with people who are volunteers, and they're giving up their time. One of the hardest things for a volunteer who may be dealing with their corporation known as their homeowners association is they're dealing with a budget that could be hundreds of thousands of dollars and a lot more than they are regularly used to working with. And because of that, those numbers seem out of place. It's not uncommon for a homeowner to say, well, you should be able to replace this. Look, we've got, $35,000 in this account. We've got $60,000 in this account. Yes, but they don't understand that what's even more important than the shrub that needs to be done is that $65,000 has to go to repair roads that are deteriorating on the property. And so budgets and numbers become something that they just don't understand. And proof of it would be if you go to Mr. Meyerson's, you go to, his account. It looks like he has tweeted to folks in response to his Rolling Stone article here. And here are a couple of the tweets. And to me, they show a person who doesn't understand the area of finance. This was an actual tweet from Mr. Meyerson just a couple days ago. He said, money doesn't come from the money tree. Oh, that's a good idea. We all understand that. Money doesn't come from the money tree. He says, it's way easier to produce money than fruit. You literally just enter numbers into a spreadsheet. Ooh. Say that
What?
again? Yeah, you literally just enter numbers into a spreadsheet. And so for him, this understanding of the government having a finite amount of resources is ridiculous. Print more money, put more zeros on the spreadsheet there, and bada boom, bada bing, bada bing, bada boom. We've got more money. Just start passing it around for all to use and to enjoy. And so I don't know if, again, like I said, we've got a reform as much as we have a wish. What are one of his other reforms or wishes that Mr. Meyerson has? Well, number 2, right up there with guaranteed work only if you feel like it, is the idea that there should be Social Security for all. He said, you know what else blows? Underemployment. So he said, and this is a quote, so let's get rid of that with what he calls a jaw-droppingly simple idea. This is another one like my son. Oh, I've got an idea. He said, let's just have universal basic income. Do you know what that is, Chris?
I don't.
Well, let me tell you. Universal basic income is what if people don't have to work to survive?
Oh.
The government just simply adds an amount of money sufficient for you to live and puts it in your bank account each and every month. So I guess you would have a money fairy who just puts money in your account each and every month. And he said then participation in the labor force would be truly voluntary. You got that right.
Isn't that called a lottery? Winning the lottery, basically?
Yeah, I think so. But it's true. Participation in the labor force would truly be voluntary if money just automatically wound up in your bank account each and every month. He said thereby this would enable people to get a life. Listen to that statement, will you? That if the idea or notion that if money is just automatically put into your account and you're not forced to have to work, now you're able to get a life. Well, think about that for a moment, folks, while we take a break right now and we come back dealing with more of the 5 economic reforms millennials should be fighting for in this Rolling Stone article. Truly astounding. But don't go away. A lot more after these messages.